It's 7:32.
It is indeed 7:32, and we're here live on the Maker Nerd, and my name is Diana. So, of course, I decided to go live. Instantly, my light decides to start making some very weird noises, and we certainly don't want the light making weird noises. So, let's bring this back up. How's everybody doing tonight? Write a comment if you're here. Hit a share button. Whatever you'd like to do. But what we're going to do tonight... So how's everybody doing? So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do a part 2, actually. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, or if you're interested in part 1 is over on YouTube. It's about an hour long. I don't know if that's how long we'll end up going tonight, but I hope I've got some of the little issues worked out that we had yesterday when I recorded that one. But if not, hey, we'll learn together, and that's really all that matters, right? So we're here. Hopefully I'll see your comments, although that can be kind of difficult at times. If I don't catch them right away when I see them pop up on the iPad. But questions, comments, make a comment, let me know you're there. Share this video if you're watching it later. Share it now if you're watching it live. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do part 2 of Marji Roy's 3DCuts.com Star Shadow Box Nativity Scene. So yeah, that's a lot to say at one time. But that's what we're going to be doing. I've made one shadow box so far, and I really loved how it turned out. I got started making this one yesterday. That's the part 1 video that's over on YouTube for this. We made all of the parts for the blue part of the star. So tonight we're going to be working on the internal parts of the star and some of the smaller parts as well. So we're going to be using our Brother ScanNCut. It's going to get kind of noisy up in here from time to time, so we'll have to deal with that. Turn your volume down a little bit when the machine's running. We're going to have a little cider. Shout out to Strongbows. Love Strongbow cider. Love some apple cider. We just got done having some pizza tonight, so I always try and do something simple on the nights that I'm going to go live. And if you're interested, I think I'm probably going to go live probably pretty much on Tuesdays and Thursdays from now on, because I think that seems to work out best. So, with that said, let's jump into what we're doing. Okay. So, as you can see here, let me go over here. No, you're not seeing. Give me half a second. This is not unusual for this to happen. When my computer goes to sleep, it loses the connection with what I'm doing. So let me go ahead really quick, jump back. Let me go ahead and start this back up. This is not what we need right now. There we go, there we go, there we go. Okay, now we're going. Now we're good. Okay, here we are. So, let's go ahead and go to the Brother ScanNCut website, because that's where we're going to be doing most of our work tonight. So let's open up a new tab. Sorry, I see you guys went black there for a minute. That's not unusual. Hey Jay, how you doing? Hey Michael, good to see you. Let's see. Let's see, Canvas Workspace. And sometimes I end up getting the wrong, but no, I got it right. All right, so let's go ahead and get logged in here. We don't want that PC version. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. They have an app for the Brother Canvas for the PC. The problem with that is you happen to go to a different computer or a Mac, something at work, whatever, and all of a sudden all your projects are missing, and that's not really what you want. So let's go to My Projects, and you can see here that I've already imported everything for this. We talked a little bit about that yesterday too. So what I printed yesterday, what I cut out yesterday, I cut out these stars. I did not cut out the vellum layer, and I can't cut this out tonight either because I don't have the vellum yet. I didn't realize that this star required the vellum, so I'll have to wait. I think it's coming tomorrow. So this is going to end up being probably a 4 or 5 part video series because doing these are pretty intense. So yesterday we also cut out the 5 sides of our stars. So let's see, what do we want to get started cutting out tonight? We also cut out the little back door there. But let's go ahead and start with layer 1. I think that's a great place to start. So we're going to go ahead and bring this up, and we're going to say to edit this project. And it's going to load. And there it is. So let's go ahead and increase that to where you can actually see it. And so as you can see, this first layer is really simple. It's just some, I guess what you would call grass, right? And so we're going to be cutting this out of a cream colored cardstock. So let me go ahead, for those of you who haven't watched part 1 first, let me go ahead really quick and show you what it is that we're making. I am actually making Christmas things, yes, and that's because you can't really wait until the last minute to make Christmas things, right? You end up in November going, I have no time. What happened to all of my time? So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on this picture. Is it going to let me? No, it's not. Every time I hit the zoom in, it just does a reset. So that's probably as close as we're going to be able to see it. But this is what we're making. I actually cut the sides and the front of this out in a really, really nice blue linen cardstock yesterday. So now what we're going to be working on is the inside. And as you can see, they've used white, but we're actually going to use a nice cream color that I think will actually probably work a little better and look a little nicer. So let me turn on the old Brother ScanNCut, get it up and connected to the network so that that's all set to go. There's a little bit of noise, but not much. Let me make sure it gets connected. Connecting. Come on, machine, you can do it. Okay, we're connected now. Great. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do a little bit of adjusting here. Yeah, just like that. A little harder for me to see what I'm doing, but that's okay. Okay, so this is what we're going to be cutting out. So what we have to do first is we have to actually get it from our computer over to our machine. So we're going to hit download. And we're going to say, actually, go ahead and just transfer it over to our machine. So we're going to click that button. And it says the ScanNCut transfer is ready. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and say to close that. And we're going to go ahead and close out of our switcher window. Before we do, we're going to switch over to the desk version of this. And we're going to close up our computer for now. And we're going to do some real work, some real crafting work here. So what I'm getting out here is my ScanNCut mat. I'm just going to move that out of the way for now. So let's get out the ScanNCut mat. I don't know if many of you are familiar with how these machines work. I know a lot of people have heard of what's called a Cricut. And the Cricut is a wonderful machine too, but I have, for this work, I have found that the ScanNCut is really wonderful. This is a lint roller. These are the best things in the world when you have animals in your house. So we're just going to take this, and we're going to roll it over our mat. Get up as much dog and cat hair as we can. I actually learned about doing this by being in a group on Facebook. and somebody mentioned that they have animals as well, and they found that using a lint roller is the best thing in the world for dealing with animal lint or animal hair. I guess animals don't really have lint, but that's okay. Alright, so now I'm going to get out a piece of extremely thick cardstock. This stuff is both really, really hard to work with and both really, really good because it holds its shape really well for what we're doing. The cardstock that Marji uses is actually, you can tell, she has videos on YouTube on how, not this process, not the cutting it out and the actual getting all your pieces and ducks in a row, but she does have really good videos on putting it together. That's how I learned to put my first one together. I know you see me pulling up tape, and that's because there are a lot of complaints about the Brother ScanNCut mats not being sticky enough, but I have found with just a little bit of painter's tape and taking this tape knife is what they call it, but putty knife, whatever you'd like to call it. You can even hear probably the air bubbles working out of it. So let's do that, and then I'm just going to tape it down on the very edges, and this will help hold it when we get ready to run it through the machine. Okay, so I'm going to reach across here. I'm going to bring this back. We're going to switch views over to our machine here. And we're going to put it there, and we're going to say loaded. This is where you might want to turn your volumes down a little bit. So, a while ago, we sent the file from the computer over to our machine. This is the little icon for the machine. Hopefully you can get a little bit of a view of this. It says it's retrieving. Okay, so there's our image. I don't know if you guys can see that. Not like that you can't. Yeah, there you can. There's the image. But what we're going to do is we're going to add a test cut to this, because this is some pretty thick cardstock. And I have a sneaking suspicion that we're going to need a little bit. Okay, so it's going to print it up in the corner. I have a feeling we're going to need to set our blade a little deeper, but we're going to tell it to cut, and we're going to hit start. Okay, I'm actually going to unload it. So I want to see if that, oh, it did cut all the way through. Excellent. Okay, so we're not going to have to worry about making our blade deeper. So we're going to load it back. Great thing about this is it remembers where we were at. So we're just going to hit start, and it's really going to get noisy. It's going to take 4 minutes, it says. probably sing and sound better than this machine. But what are you going to do, right? It says we have about 3 more minutes left. And trying to talk over this machine is, wow. I love it when it gets into a rhythm, though. I see my hand sneaking in there every now and then. Alright, we're down to a minute. This is like watching paint dry. But you'll probably be, hopefully we're all impressed with how it looks when it comes out. Right now, that rhythm that it's got going is because it's doing perforated edges, so that I'll be able to fold it easier. Alright, so it's finished cutting. We say okay, and we unload our mat. Okay, so let's bring this back over here. Let's set that camera out of the way for a second. And let's just attempt to pull this off very gently. Down here where you've got all of these fine cuts, definitely want to make sure that you keep the things that you want to keep. Okay, let's move it a little bit. Take it off from the top. There we go. There we go. And we're getting to a voila moment, hopefully. There we go. Right? Alright, so not bad. We got some pieces that we need to dig out of here. And of course I left my tweezers in my other bag. I may have to grab them. Let's see. See, that didn't... Wow. Come on. I'm not going to force that. I'm probably going to take an X-Acto knife or something and just make sure that it's... That one came out okay. Got some little pieces there that we're going to have to take out with an X-Acto blade where it didn't quite cut the way it should, or it cut okay. But they're just kind of hanging on for dear life right there. And if you're not careful, you can actually tear a little bit. Like there's this little piece right here that's going to have to come out. So yeah, but overall, that looks really great. So we're just going to set this off to the side and we're going to go on to their next one. So let me go ahead. And the great thing is that now I've got all of this extra right here that I'll be able to use to like print the stars and stuff. And you know, now that I'm thinking about it, something that the ScanNCut will do, which is a really nice feature, is it will actually, I can take this mat and scan this mat in. So let me, oops, go back, let's go home, say okay, let's go back to pattern, let's go back. Okay, so I'm going to scan this mat in just like it is, and I'll show you why in a second. So I'm going to hit scan, scan to cut data. Let's try that. We'll see if this works. Not 100% sure. So see, we've scanned it in, it's recognizing it, and now you can see that it recognized the cuts and things that I have on that. So hopefully, when I do this other, I'm going to be able to return to that, and we'll be able to position what we actually want to cut where we know it will cut. We'll see how that works in just a second. Okay, so let's go ahead and take that out. Unload it. Good, it's still there. This is good. I'm just trying to figure out now if I go back. No, I don't want to delete it. Don't want to save it. Processing. Don't want to do that. So the scan to cut was not really what we wanted to do. So I'm going to try this one more time. Yeah, you guys, sorry, you're learning with me, right? There are some things that I've never tried with this machine, but I'm fairly certain it will do. And so we're all learning together. Give it a second before we unload it. Oh man, long day at work. Okay. So now we can say okay. And we can say okay. Oh yeah, that didn't really do what I wanted it to do either. Alright, well, we'll have to figure it out. In the meantime, I am going to set my thing just over top of this so that it doesn't get more cat and or dog hair on it. Set that off to the side. Let's bring back the laptop. Excellent. Let's bring back that. Going to add a camera. Nope, that was not what I wanted. There we go. Okay, good deal. So now that we've got this one cut out, we're going to go back to my projects. And I want to choose this one. Oh, no. Hold on. Undo. I need to delete all of this so that it's not hanging out there when I try and... Okay, good. Now we're going to bring all this back. Now, what I don't need, I know for a fact that I don't need this because I cut these out the other day. So, okay. Did that get rid of it in its entirety? That like got rid of everything. So that wasn't very helpful. Bring it back. Just trying to select one piece. As you can tell, there we go. Okay, so we'll get that. That's gone. Get that. That's gone. We don't need to print this or cut this. We cut it yesterday. So I'm looking 1, 2, 3, and I've definitely got that many squares. So that's going to cut there on this just fine. That's going to cut okay there. I don't need this either. This is a little shelf if you want to put like the little flickering tea lights in it, but I don't want to do that, so let me get rid of that. I do, however, so I'm just going to drag, okay, grab all of that, and I'm going to pull it over here, because I definitely want to get that cut. And I'm going to right mouse click, and I'm going to say to duplicate it, because I need 2 of these. So then I'm just going to drag that down below. Those are going to fit okay. And I think I can take this down here and take it down a little further. And let's see, can we rotate this? We don't want to divide it. We just want to rotate it. There should be a way to rotate it. I'm pretty sure that we can get it over here. Because I'm just trying to use up the scrap of the piece that we just cut, so that I'm not wasting a lot of material. Okay, I think that's going to do it. Yeah, that looks good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did last time. I'm going to hit download. And I'm going to send it over to the machine. See, people just don't, it's already to the machine, so I'm going to close this out now. People simply do not realize how much work goes into these things. Okay, so we no longer need our computer. We're going to close that and set it off to the side. What we do need is we're going to bring this back. We're going to set this off to the side. Take our cover off. And then we're going to take this and load it back into the mat or into the machine. Loading, loading. Okay, load. Okay, so so what I'm doing now is I'm retrieving my image, kind of looking at it. I think it's going to cut just fine. So we're going to say okay, and we're going to say to cut it. And you know what? Because that didn't cut quite as well as I had hoped it would, I'm going to take my blade out here, and I'm going to set it to a blade depth of 6. And I think that's probably going to work better, and I won't have to worry about taking an X-Acto. All right, so we're going to hit start. Noisy time again. this is looking good. It's all gonna fit right where we need it to, which is perfect. Doing score lines now. I love the rhythm. I gotta tell you, I'm into that rhythm. If you hear a big crash, it's just everything falling down around me. Don't worry about it. It'll all be okay in the morning. I hope. Getting some tools out here that I probably should have had the foresight to look out, grab earlier. Alright, got them now though. I talk a little bit in my part 1 video about this being an abyss. And it is just a little bit. I'm going to get this first piece that we did for you all cleaned up though. So, while that's doing that, we're going to work on this one just a little bit. I have my handy dandy best X-Acto tool ever made. Oh, my other camera's wanting to do a software update. Go figure, right? Slide your finger in there. Got this at Michael's. Absolutely love this. Just trying to figure out the best way to do this. Not cut my finger off. Do have to go to work tomorrow. And cut it right where it needed to be. Perfect. Okay, so that's out of there. And now, I wonder where my other set of tweezers are at. These are okay, but they're a little funky. Take that. Take an X-Acto. Whoops, 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 whoops. Careful, careful. There we go. That one's out. Perfect. Perfect. Have you ever noticed how sharp they make X-Acto knives? Pretty darn sharp, is all I got to say. Which I guess is good. Unless you're a little bit of a klutz like I can be sometimes. And then maybe not so great. So you see how intricate this is? Which, by the way, is a word that I do not like saying. That's okay. Just gonna run it where I can see it cut. See, that came out perfect. Just running it in those grooves where I can see it already cut. Running it in the grooves. Hopefully, I'll remember before I do this next time to change the setting on the machine and not have to do this part of it. All a part of crafting though, right? And if people think that crafts can be perfected, they've never crafted before. If I made 100 of these, I can guarantee you no 2 of them would look the same. And that's just the way that it should be, in my opinion. No 2 of these should ever have the same mistakes. I should create new mistakes each and every time, is what I'm trying to say. It's what I'm good at. Funny thing is the people that you give it to never know the difference, unless you're my dad. And then he points out every mistake ever made on anything. And they never watch these videos through their entirety, so I don't have to worry about him hearing that, because it's true and he knows it. My brother might tell him if he watches it. This is not really my brother's kind of thing either, so I probably don't have to worry at all. I can clean the rest of this up later. I just wanted to show you guys how tight this thing cuts. Because as you can probably see, I still have some that I need to work on over on this side. And I can do that, but we don't need to do it right now. Alright, so that gets set off to the side. Let's cover up the very sharp X-Acto blade before I lay my hand on it and decide to bleed all over the place. It's all scrap. We're just going to push it off to the side for now. Okay, so we're going to unload our mat. Got a little lost there in what I was doing. Gonna put our little thing so that doesn't go flying away. Now we have stars. Yay, stars. Right. Yay, stars. Come on, stars. Wow. So let's see. For the most part, it seems to have cut very well. Except maybe for that one little side right there, and I don't. Okay. Those cut perfect. And these seem to have cut out very nicely. Maybe, maybe not. It's almost as if the blade has the right depth and pressure on some parts of the mat, but not necessarily on the others. So let me go ahead and take this off now that I can. I'm certainly not going to cut it while it's on my sticky mat, because I would cut right through my mat. And I can attest to the fact that these mats are not cheap. They are not cheap at all. Come on, there we go. Thank you. Okay, so I've got a couple of stars hanging out. Let me grab them. Alright, perfect. These stars are going to be really cool because it's going to make a 3D feature stacking one on top of the other with little, what they call pop dots. So it'll stand up. Get that piece off. You're always seeing all these pieces going, I don't want to waste that. I've got to learn that not everything can be saved. I'm going to set that off to the side. Let me get the X-Acto back out here for a second. I'm going to quickly, I hear my puppy. I'm going to quickly and efficiently not cut my finger off. About to think I need a new pair of glasses. Okay, I'll go with that. Go with that, and voila. It's the big star. And let me see where did you not cut through here? See, this is, I'm gonna set my blade even just a little deeper. Just because I don't like having to do this. Right, you get these nice, clean, meticulous cuts. The last thing you want to do is mangle them by having to do what I'm having to do right here. Okay, so that looks good. Turn this one. Take my blade. Not stab myself. Bring it up from the bottom. And voila. Okay, perfect. Okay. Put this back on. So we have 2 more layers to cut out. And I am certainly going to go ahead and get those layers cut out. It's going to be a very similar process to what you've already been watching. But a lot of people, when they go back to watch videos, they like to see what you're doing in its entirety. I don't know how well this really works for a live, though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I watch YouTube videos and Facebook videos all the time. Charlene gets so upset with me because we'll be sitting and watching television, and I'll turn on a YouTube video, and she was like, how can you do that? You're supposed to be watching TV. I can't watch, even if what I'm watching on TV is something that I'm interested in, and it usually is because she usually isn't interested in anything, and I choose what's on TV. It just doesn't hold my interest that much. And so I have to move on. I have to do something different. And so I'll throw on a YouTube video because at least then I'm learning something, and I think that's great, right? All right, so I'm going to, this time, ta-da, I'm going to, let's see, bring up, remove that one, remove that one. I'm going to add a camera. I wish I could delete these things, but I don't think that I can. No. Stop. Okay, so, get into my computer with my little finger. And I'm going to have to stop this one and start it again. This is the only thing about this, is that every time I shut my computer, I lose the connection to what I'm doing over here, and it makes it, I have to go through a bunch of steps to get it back, but that's okay. Alright, so now I'm going to click on this mat, I'm going to Control A, and, well, no I'm not. Control A does not seem to be our friend here. So I'm just going to drag, catch everything on the mat, and I'm going to delete everything. Good. Now we're going to bring over layer 2 of our nativity. There it is. Perfect size. I'm not going to mess with any of the size, because if I do, I'll screw it up. And we're going to say download it. I'm going to try something different here. I'm going to hit the home button over there. Yes, delete that. I'm going to hit download. I'm going to say send it to the machine. And so what I'm going to do, okay, it says it's ready to cut over here, which is great. But first, I'm going to select all of that, because it's probably got several layers, and you want to make sure you grab them all. And I'm going to grab this last layer in here. That's Jerusalem, by the way. And I'm going to hit download. I'm going to say scan into the train. It says it's ready. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to look at my patterns, and it's retrieving them. I only see one. Yeah, so that didn't work the way I wanted it to. I was hoping it would show both patterns, but wait a minute. If I take it, if I go back home, can I go back home? I can save it. And I'm going to save it to the machine. Okay, so now that one is saved to the machine, and I'm going to take, and I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. Get rid of that one, bring this one back over, and now I'm going to download it into the machine. Okay, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to go there. It's retrieving. Okay, so now I've got that one. So this is really all we need the computer for tonight. So we're going to close this puppy up. We're going to set it off to the side. And believe me, I am working in a very confined area here in a huge room. Partly because it truly is an abyss. In other words, everything that we couldn't decide what we needed to do with it landed in this room. including including the exercise equipment. Whoops. Alright, so put this on here. A little bit. Thank you. I'm going to take my cutting knife. And I'm going to... I've also read, been told, watched on YouTube, read on Facebook that you can restick these mats. I know you can restick Cricut mats, and it worked fairly good. I don't know about these mats, but you know, I'm surviving with what I'm doing, right? And these things are like 30 bucks a pop. I've heard you can get some mats out of the UK that are a lot better, that last longer at least, but they're really pricey too, so I don't know. Alright, so the good news is I'm remembering to take out, and we're going to go just, yeah, that's not focusing very well. Let's back that up. We're going to go just like 6.5. We're going to see how that does, because this is really thick stuff. But yet, if you cut too deeply, then you end up cutting into your mat, and that diminishes the life of it too. So damned if you do and damned if you don't, people. What can I say? I'm gonna hit cut, and we're gonna hit. Now this is gonna take 4 minutes. In the meantime, I am gonna come back over here. I'm gonna continue to work on this while we wait for the very loud machine to do its thing, and hopefully do it a little bit better than this. For anybody who wants to know, this process that I'm doing here, these little bits and pieces that didn't stay where they were supposed to on the sticky mat, it's called weeding. Kind of like weeding a garden, right? You're getting rid of the junk. You're getting rid of the stuff that you don't want on your project. So that's just kind of what I'm doing here. You can see it doesn't take much cutting to get this stuff out of here. Which is why it's frustrating that it doesn't just cut it a little better. Oh, we're getting into some really noisy stuff now. Sorry, guys. But it's all... Why am I apologizing? You're the ones watching this. If you're watching it live or if you're watching it later, you can turn the volume down. You can mute it. Right? Ah. This one is kicking my little butt. Well, not so little, but you get the idea. Just don't want it to tear into there we go. There, we're on a roll now, guys. If we can finally get that piece off of here. Don't ask me what it's doing because I'm not looking at it. Looks like we've got another little piece right here. So I'm still going to be working on my maker coin because that did not work the way I wanted it to the other day. I knew it wouldn't, just because of the way I had set it up. You can probably hear, if you've seen that video, you can probably hear the doubt in my voice that it's going to work. But, you know, I went ahead and printed it. It only took, I don't know, 45 minutes maybe to print it. And it did exactly what I expected it to do. So that's okay. I'm just looking at that. Can you guys see that? I think that looks okay. I think it looks okay. Yeah, Alright, we're gonna... I do see one piece right here. I have it. It's a big piece too. But I have it. Oh, so that's already done. Wow. Cool. Alright, so I got one more to print, or to cut. So, let me quickly, and without losing a limb or a finger, come on. Good. Okay. Let me put that back on there. If I don't do this, guys, if I don't put this cap back on here, and you're watching me, you better be yelling at me to put the cap back on. I'm going to set that off to the side, along with our stars and our spacers is what those other things are. Set those off to the side. Okay, we're going to unload our mat, and we're going to take this out. Gotta get baby Jesus. Come on, baby Jesus. Come on, Mary and Joseph. Come on, guys, you can do it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, baby Jesus came out okay. Come on, Mary. Come on, Mary. You can do it, Mary. You can do it, Joseph. I don't think they're listening to me, to be perfectly honest. Alright, let's run this around here. There we go. Come on, Joseph, you can do it. Joseph. Joseph is just not listening to me as I am talking to him. There we go. Yay, Joseph. Alright, Mary, come on. You can't be stubborn on me. Joseph did it. You can too. Come on. Come on. Oh, okay. I'll buy that. I'll take that. That's a win. That is a win. We're going to set that off to the side. We're going to do our last and final cut for the night, because I don't have vellum. There is another big piece that I could cut tonight. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if I do that. This is already probably, look at this. This is already an hour. So I just want to get this other piece cut. I really don't think videos should go much longer than an hour. Because, I mean, we can come back and do all of this another night, which is exactly what we're going to do. We are going to come back and do it another night and finish it out. Well, we're not going to finish it out. Like I said, it's probably going to be a 4 or 5 part series on doing this. Set all that off to the side. I don't want to mix the good with the bad. We're going to set Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus off to the side for a second. We're going to grab another piece of our paper right here. I was just hoping to get all of the cutting stuff done tonight so that the next video I make we can start assembling it. But you guys know how this cutting bit works, right? You just send it to the machine, and then you put this in the machine, and make sure you get this stuck down as well as you can, because you don't want it getting loose when you're cutting. I'm just gonna have to buy another new mat, I think. I do have another mat. It's and maybe I should be using it. We'll see. Okay. Go away. Go home. Okay. Pattern. Save data. Save to the machine. There's Jerusalem. Just like we saved it. Okay. Yes, we've got Jerusalem. We've got Jerusalem. We're going to cut it. And we're going to hit start. So here we go. Now then. In the meantime, because you don't really need to see that happening, you can hear it. That's really all you need, right? And I'm sure you wish that you weren't hearing it. You just have to get this little piece out of there. Now, if you have any questions about this, if you're watching this after the fact, just go ahead and, put it in the comments and I will get back to you. Again, I got these files from 3DCuts.com. Marji Rory, which is a name I have a really hard time saying, is the woman who does these designs, which I find, wow, if I could do this, right, that would be great. It says I'm live and I'm showing myself, so hopefully all of this is doing it for your plan. There's that out. Let's get the little baby Jesuses out. There's that out. I love it when they just snap out like that. That was going to be a little hateful, as you can probably see. And that's another thing when you're doing this stuff, even though you're doing it live and you know people are going to go back and watch it later and maybe watching it while you're doing it, it's the hardest damn thing to keep reminding yourself that people are watching you. And so you need to make sure they can see what you're doing. So freaking difficult. Okay, so that one's done. Oops. You can go back to watching the noisy machine. It has a minute left. Having a sip of cider. This is Strongbow, the original. I've got so much stuff I want to do, though. I'm going to be making like 4 of these. So thank goodness you only have to sit through one, right? I'm going to be making about 4 of these. I'm actually going to be making and selling t-shirts with a Maker Nerd logo on the back and then a small logo on the left-hand side. They're going to go from anywhere between 10 and 15 bucks, which I think is pretty reasonable. Hopefully I will get my Maker coin made. Oops. Sorry, going back. Alright, so baby Jesus is all good there. We're going to put baby Jesus over there. We're going to grab Jerusalem right here. Come here, Jerusalem. Come on, Jerusalem. Come on, Jerusalem. See, Jerusalem cut primarily at the top. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Come on, Jerusalem. You can do it. Oh, come on. Seriously? One little place stuck? You're kidding me, right? I can get your little windows out. But you're going to stick on me right there. Come on. Pop. Come on. Unfreaking believable. Okay. Oh, sometimes, people. Sometimes. I'm telling you. It's tough. God, if I didn't have this stuff to do when I came home from work practically every day, I just don't think, I just couldn't live. I've always been a maker in some form or fashion, but over the years it's really intensified a lot. Wanting to make, needing to make. Now it's like such a part of my life, such a part of who I am and what I do. And I don't have, I don't have a niche. I'm not strictly a paper crafter. I'm not strictly a 3D printer person. I'm not strictly a chalk couture. I don't even, whoops. See, that's why I don't like doing this. Yeah, it's never good when you say whoops. Never a good plan to say whoopsies. Okay, there we go. Come on out. There we go. Thank you, Jerusalem. You had me worried. Alright, peeps. Jerusalem is out. Jerusalem has a few windows and doors that need to be knocked in. Maybe cut just a little bit. Cleaned up just a tad. Make it good. But other than that, I think we're going to call it a night. Like I said, this video is about an hour, a little more than an hour now. I forgot that when you go live on Facebook using this software that I use, that you have to go in and you have to set up the description and all. I hope I can edit all of that because I really did it really quick, and I want to add a little better description to what it is we're doing here. Really looks like we're just playing with paper dolls right now, doesn't it? I know. And I never did really play with paper dolls as a kid. Didn't play with paper dolls much at all. Of course, all I had were guys around me. I had my brother. He's my only sibling. He's a little older than me, a couple of years. But, you know, I didn't have any quote-unquote girlfriends that lived anywhere nearby that could come over and play and stuff. So, you know, I did all the guy things. Played with all the guy toys. Just who I was, what I did. Worked out okay. I'm not half bad. Could be better, but couldn't we all? Alright, so, thank you for joining me on this live adventure. Like I said, this is part 2. So, if you want to see how all this comes together, please be on the lookout for part 3 and 4 I know of. Maybe a part 5. We'll have to wait and see. I'll probably be switching these up between YouTube and Facebook. So the next one will be a YouTube live. So if you haven't followed me over on YouTube, go do that when you get a chance. The Maker Nerd. I'm also on Instagram, and I also have a website, themakernerd.com. And what the website is, yes, it does have the videos in the blog post, but it's also where I kind of reflect on what I did a little bit. If that makes sense. Anyway, so go check all those things out. Like, follow, share. I could really, really appreciate the sharing. Share the page, share the videos. Yay, Jerusalem is now complete. I want to get as many people interested as I can. So yeah, like I said, go like, go follow, go share. Tell your friends. Once I get my Maker Nerd coin not perfected, as I've said many times, nothing is perfect about crafting or 3D printing or any of this stuff that we do. Perfection is not a part of it. But when I get it to where I like it, then, you know, I'll be giving those away. So that'll be cool. I'll be sending them to people, carrying them with me. So, I hope everybody enjoyed this. There's the website for anybody that needs to go check that out or may want to go check that out. Thank you. That's it for tonight, and we will see you the next time. Have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend, and don't forget to do your taxes, and we'll see you next Tuesday.